little jumper.
It's all good. Space station. All right, so this is the Sabbath. If y'all don't know what the Sabbath is, it's the last day of the week. It's the day of rest. So we're gonna talk about the Sabbath first. So we're gonna start this off. So the Sabbath. This is Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. This is part of what they would call the 10 Commandments, and this is one of the 10. All right. So honor your mother. Don't lie. Don't kill. Don't commit murder. Don't steal. This is one of them, right? So that means it got to be important. They'll tell you nowadays it's not important somehow because Christ didn't speak on keeping the Sabbath, which is crazy and insane to me because it ties to so much in not only the Hebrew culture, but just in culture in general. So this is Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. It says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, right? So the word Sabbath or Shabath, is the Hebrew coordinates is 7676, right? It's an intermission, right? So it's almost like a break time. You know, everybody know what the intermission is. You ever been to a movie, like a real long movie, like a 3-4 hour movie? They'll give you a time to like go take a break. I think they give me one when I go see Batman. So I don't know, but it was like an intermission break, right? It's like a pause. It also comes from the core word 87673, which is Shabbat with the 1B, right? It's to repose, to desist, exertion, cease, celebrate, rest, still. It has so many different meanings to it, right? That's why it's so important to take this opportunity at this rest day, right? So, let me see if I can turn into the thing. Keep it perfect. What's up, brother? Take a seat. Yeah, I can see you. Kind of hard to miss. All right, so this is Genesis chapter 2. This is Genesis chapter 2. All right, I'm gonna read this. Don't worry about this. I'm gonna read the whole Sabbath joke. This is Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, right? It says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work, which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work, which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in he had rested from all his work, which God created and made. So God worked 6 days, he rested on the seventh, right? There's no more work, nothing else is done. So everybody, all of us was already created within them 6 days, right? You might not be here in the physical form because your parents ain't, do the parent thing, you know what I mean? But you was already made as a spirit. Everything was already made. Any new babies, any new animals, all that was already made within the 6 days, right? So as God takes this rest, like I said, we're trying to be holy just like God. We will also take a rest just like him, right? So this is the book of Jubilees. I don't know if anybody ever had this book. It's the book of Jubilees. This is what they removed from the other books of the Bible, right? The book of Jubilees, little Genesis. This goes into detail about a lot of the Genesis stories. So the beginning, it tells you when the day the angels was made, right? Yeah, I know how they always talk about Eve talking to a serpent and like, well, we talk to a snake, snakes can't talk. Well, before that happened, animals could talk. Okay, that's where you get Dr. Doolittle from. Animals were talking. That's not nothing they just made up. Oh, we just made them talk. No, this is biblical, right? Animals talking. So it's easy for her to be confused because I mean, the animals talking. It wasn't like she was just like, oh, the snake talks and the monkey don't. No, all the animals were talking at this time, and God stopped that communication after this happened. So all these penalties came about, right? So this is the book of Jubilees. It's chapter 2, verses 16 through 18. It says, and he finished all his work on the 6th day, all that is in the heavens and on the earth and in the seas and in the abyss and in the light and in the darkness and in everything. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we work 6 days, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the 7th day from all work. and all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification. These two great classes he had bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth. So not only, like I said, do we keep the Sabbath here, they do it too. So as we're doing this feast, they're doing it in heaven too, right? So that's another thing they don't tell people. They was talking about, oh well, we don't do these days. That's not true, because God does them. Like he wanted the rest. We supposed to do everything they do, right? Now mind you, we can't fly and all that other stuff. You want to fly, you go like, JetBlue. Don't go on Spirit, but go on an airplane or something like that. Because Spirit is having a lot of trouble. You don't want to go on Spirit. You become a Spirit. Go on Spirit. Yeah, they did crash it, but they said it's hard for planes to crash really anyway. So I don't know about the thing, because I was talking to a guy that works for the transportation. He said it's so thorough because you can't really afford for a plane to go down. It's not like a car crash. It's not the same. So this is Leviticus chapter 23. This is verse 1 through 3. And I'm just going over all the examples of showing you that it's all in sequence, right? So it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which you shall proclaim to be a holy convocation, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. So once again, it's just speaking about the Sabbath, right? It's going to be a rest day, right? So anytime there's a Sabbath, this is particularly talking about the first Sabbath, which will be next Saturday. That will be the first Sabbath, because Sunday is the first day of the week, and Saturday is the last day of the week, which is the seventh day, right? Which is crazy how they'll tell you that Sunday is the Sabbath now, but we all know since being a child, every calendar starts from Sunday to Saturday. Nobody calendar starts like that, right? So this is Nehemiah. This is just introducing about how it came about, right? It says, thou camest down also upon Mount Sinai, and spakest with them from heaven, and gavest them right judgments and true laws, good statutes and commandments, and madest known unto them thy holy Sabbath, and commandest them precepts, statutes, and laws by the hand of Moses thy servant, right? And this is Christ speaking in Mark chapter 2, verse 27. And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. So this day was made for us, but it's a reason why, because this day has so many implications, right? It's just not a day of rest neither. It's also a day that's so many things that surround God and Christ is around the Sabbath, right? And this is what we're about to start talking about. So Christ taught on the Sabbath. Don't let anybody tell you this. Christ wasn't in nobody church Sunday. He wasn't in no Baptist church or anything like that. Christ taught on Saturday. Saturday morning, Christ was in the church. And we're going to show you some examples about Christ being in the church, right? So this is Luke chapter 13 and verse 10, and Luke 4 and 31.
And he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath. And he came to Nazareth, where there had been brought up...
No, just read 4 and 31 now.
4 and 31?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Here a little, there a little. I don't got to give them the whole thing. I just needed to show them that Christ teaching on the Sabbath.
Gotcha. And came down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee, and taught them on the Sabbath days.
So it's talking about Christ teaching on the Sabbath days again, right? So they might say, oh, well, this could have been just for specific because he was like teaching because somebody wanted him to, right? Nope. I got to answer that question too. This is Luke chapter 4, verse 16. You can read that.
And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and his custom was, and he went unto the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read.
So he read on the Sabbath day again, right? But it says this is custom. This is how he was brought up. So he's been doing this his whole life, right? This is what he do. So what happens is when Christ died, they talk about Christ. The Sabbath changed to Sunday because apparently he rose on the first day of the week and he died on Friday. That's where you get Good Friday in and then Easter, right? That's not even 3 days though, which is crazy. Good Friday to Sunday is not 3 days, right? For him to be dead in the grave, because he doesn't die Friday morning. He dies Friday like night, almost before the sun goes down, right? That's not even 3 days, right? But they'll tell you that the Sabbath has changed and stuff like that, or we don't follow the Sabbath after Christ's death. That's also not true. All right. If I'm going too fast, somebody let me know. So Christ actually dies on the Sabbath. All right. That's what they tell y'all that, right? They may say Good Friday, but he dies on the Sabbath. He actually dies on Passover. So everybody know the story about Moses, because we're going to talk about that in 2 weeks. That's when Passover is. But the story of Moses, when they put the blood on the door and the blood of the lamb is the sacrificial. Well, guess what they call the lamb? Christ, right? So y'all know how y'all might get the Last Supper or whatever. Well, the Last Supper is a time which I'm gonna talk about it. It's a time where Christ had to do the holiday or the holy day with his people before, because he can't participate in the Passover this year because he is the Passover. So this time you ain't gotta get no lamb, get no blood. He is the lamb sacrifice of blood. So I can't eat with y'all like, hold on, my bad. This food out good. I gotta run go get killed. No, it's not like that, right? He automatically know this. But before that, he's constantly been celebrating the Passover year in year with his family. But this particular time, that's why he's only with his disciples too. He's not with the whole Jerusalem. He's not with all the Jews. He's just with them. He wanted to have Passover with them one last time, so he did it early. And this is where you get communion night from, or whatever, where they drinking the bread and we eating the bread and the wine. So I'm gonna show you that he's clearly died on the Sabbath day, right? So this is Matthew chapter 26, verses 1 through 5.
And it came to pass when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, Ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him. But they said, Not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people.
All right, so even Christ, right? He having a conversation with his disciples. He said, "In 2 days is the Passover, where I'll be crucified." He said out of his mouth. That's what he says. On the Passover, I'm gonna be crucified. Then it shows Caiaphas and all of them, right? So all the Jews and them got together talking about when they should kill him. Even they said we should kill him, but maybe not on the feast day because it's gonna be an uproar. So this is not like a mystery. It's in the Bible. They're not going to teach you this when you go to churches though, because it causes a lot of problems, because now you got to follow the Sabbath, but you follow the Sabbath, you got to follow all these other rules, and it changes stuff. But if we just notify that like, oh, well, he died on Friday, well, it could have been Tuesday, well, it doesn't really matter. He shed his blood for us. That is true, but this does matter. I'm gonna tell you a reason why, because it's a slick thing that the people who run the world have done with this Sabbath day, right? So I'm gonna give you a couple other examples about him dying on the Sabbath, right? So this is Matthew 26:17 and John 19:31.
Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?
So they came to him, right? And it said the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. So Passover and unleavened bread is one of the same. Passover is just the first day of it, right? It's all one of the same. But if they're coming to him, this is the night of the feast, right? Where they're eating. He gets taken that morning, right? So like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, come get him. So it still has to be that Saturday or Friday night or whatever, or going to the Saturday morning. Because I'm gonna show y'all that how the calendar works. So I'm gonna jump off this in a second and show you how the calendar works. So now we're gonna read John 19:31.
The Jews therefore, because it was the preparation that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, for that Sabbath day was an high day, besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away.
So it said they can't leave him on the cross, so he's dying on the cross, right? So the Jews want him down because they like, well, look, we don't care about the other two, but he can't be up there because it's a Sabbath, so we can take him down. So because really he's supposed to stay up there until the next day, and then when they know he's fully dead, they come take the bodies, throw him in the pile, smells like poo, and they burn him. That's what they was doing. But they took the body down like, well, he can't be up there on the Sabbath. We gotta, put him in a proper burial, right? So this is the Sabbath after Christ, but I'm gonna take a detour real quick. Give me 1 second. Show y'all something. Where is it at? Where is it at? All right, so there's the calendar. Kind of did this, took a lot of work. All right, so this is what a Hebrew calendar would look like, right? If you're going by the day. Because you know how we're taught that, I guess, 12 o'clock is the new day, 12 o'clock in the morning is the new day, 12 a.m. That's really the hour of the witch. But let's just say we're just going by the days, we count days. So the first day you see is Sunday, right? And then the last day is the seventh, which is Saturday. It's a Sabbath, right? This is how I just suggest y'all to read it, because it's easier, because it's just how you already been raised growing up, to just look like day by day. Because most people still like today, right? You'll go home, go to sleep, you're still in Saturday. You're just Saturday. Even if you stay up all night, you're still in Saturday. When you wake up next morning, then you're like, okay, it's Sunday, right? But this is how it's actually supposed to be read, like this, because the nights and the days in the Bible actually start when the sun go down. So technically, the first day of the week would be Saturday night, right? And as you can see, Friday, from Friday to Saturday. That's why the Sabbath's right there, right? It'll go from Friday night to Saturday night, which would be the Sabbath. So we've already been in the Sabbath since yesterday when the sun go down. But like I said, I think it's easier for most people just to read it the regular way because you can just count the days that you're within, right? So I'm gonna come back to this because, like I said, that's really important. So back here. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all the Sabbath after Christ. Because they was clearly doing the Sabbath day after Christ. So even Christ is dead. There is no Sunday. There's no. They're still going to the Sabbath. And I'm gonna give you plenty of examples. So this is Acts chapter 13, verse 27, 42, and 44.
For they that dwell at Jerusalem and their rulers, because they knew him not, nor yet the voices of the prophets which are read every Sabbath day, they have fulfilled them in condemning him. And when the Jews were gone out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. And the next Sabbath day came almost the whole city together to hear the word of God.
You go to 18.
18. Okay.
So right here it's telling you that the Gentiles is waiting. Hey, we're waiting next week. Another Sabbath day coming, waiting for them to teach. That's the day they teach it. It's not Friday, it's not Wednesday, it's not Sunday, all this Bible study stuff. All this is new. That's not what they was doing. Saturday was when they was opening the book, reading. And back in the day, the book wasn't like it is today. You see how I got Acts numbers to it? It wasn't like that. It was just all words. All right. So they say the book of David. You better know where you was at. You ain't about to find it like, yo, what page was I on? Nah, you just go to the scrolls. Thankfully, God bless somebody to separate it the way it is today, right? So now we're going to read verse 4 in chapter 18.
And he was reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
All right, so talking about it again. Every Sabbath in the synagogue, talking to the Jews and the Greeks, right? So no difference. All right, so this is why the Sabbath is really important. It tracks time, okay? Let me show you what I mean why it tracks time, right? We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to show you after we read some of these scriptures. It tracks time. So this is Daniel, right? Chapter 2, verse 20 and 21. This is Daniel talking about how God actually controls time, right? Not man, but God, all right?
And he changeth the times.
Whoa, where you at? Read 20 first. Verse 20.
My fault.
Yeah, you good.
Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding.
All right, so he just telling you God got all the power. If you see a king, God did that. Trump, whoever, Elon Musk, they in power because God did that. And if he want to take them away, he can take them away. This is the part people don't understand. Even if they worship other gods, right? They don't get permission unless God say so. But Daniel is showing you how God controls everything. The time, the seasons, kings, or whatever. Now, this Antichrist thing is stuff supposed to happen. This is not God. This is talking about the beast, right? So this is Daniel chapter 7, verses 23 through 25.
Thus he said, The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and the dividing of time.
All right, so he's describing the beast and what the beast is going to do. Killing all the saints, wearing all the children of Israel out, right? But it's a critical part right here in verse 25. It says, he will think to change times and laws, right? It didn't say he will change them, but he will think to change these, right? But this is a problem, right? Because once the time and the laws and all this stuff is changed, now you got a confusion. So like they got like the Mayan calendar, the Gregorian calendar, all these things, right? This is confusing to people. So, for instance, what month is October as far as numbers? 10, right?
It's usually 8.
It's usually 8, right? And then November, right? And December. So December means deck, right? So give me 1 second. Let me pull this up. December? Deck, yeah, like there, like a decade. So check that out. Look at this calendar. This is the Roman calendar. They are funny people too. So they only got 10 months in their calendar. They said the other two we don't care about them because it's winter. Ain't nobody outside doing nothing anyway, right? But October it means 8, right? November it's called Noveus. It means 9, right? And Decades is December. That means 10. So already in theirs they already had that. So that's how it's supposed to be in ours too. So February should be the 12th month, and January is the 11th month. March is the first month, right? And you'll know March is the first month because God tells you that the Passover is in the first month. So whatever the first month is, whatever the month you think Passover is, whether it's March, April, February, whatever, July, that's the first month of the year. Not January, something they made up, right? But you got to remember who runs the world, who run the world at the time. So the Romans did, and they got all these numbers. So all these are like gods, like Martarius is the god of Mars, April, all these are gods, right? So I'm gonna go back to
Quick question.
what's up, bro?
You know why they added 2 months?
Why they added 2 months?
Yeah.
Well, why did the Romans add 2 months?
Yeah.
It said because so they couldn't keep track of winter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically they was like, we think it's about 60 days, but they're not sure, right? So it's really 91 days, and I'm gonna show you that. But they said they couldn't keep track of winter because sometimes, as you can see, it'll be cold still in March, so they wasn't sure. So I believe it's Caesar, Julius Caesar. He was like, look, we need to add 2 more months. Now, mind you, other places in the world got 12 months, 13 months, so we got 14 months. But Rome happened to be running the world at this particular time. But Julius Caesar added in an extra 2 months and was like, look, we need to figure out what's going on because it's a problem. It's a gap.
Is that why the beaver thing was created?
The who?
The little beaver thing? I mean, not beaver.
The Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
It's crazy about that. I just saw somebody talking about the Groundhog Day. Even no matter when he come out, it's gonna be the same. It's just something that they did because they're making a tradition. But I'm gonna tell you why about the tradition. That's gonna come up later in the discussion. All right, so this is Genesis chapter 1, 14, and Psalms 104, 19. You want to do?
Mhm.
All right.
And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Yeah.
He appointed the moon for seasons, the sun knoweth his going down.
All right, so it said that the stars and all that, the moon, they're really the signs of the seasons, right? But you gotta use all of them. You can't just go by one. So let's say I just want to follow the sun, that's not gonna work. Let's say I just want to follow the moon, that's not gonna work. Let's say I want to follow the stars, it's not gonna work. They all do different things, right? But when you put them all together, this is how you get to time, right? So how many days is in a year?
364.
364. 365, right? Okay, 365, 366 was leap year. When you divide that by 7, you always gonna get a decimal every single time, right? So that means there's an extra day somewhere in the thing. I was looking for it. This year it's Wednesday. Wednesday has more days than everybody else. So Wednesday got 53 days. So it's 53 Wednesdays compared to everything else has 52, right? But this one day throws off everything, right? Because it's not equal. And then this is the reason why you forget things. And this is why you forget what a Sabbath was, because this is just a one day. So no, just the one day. Because 365 can't go into 7 equally, right? But they can go on 364 equally, but not 365, right? So this is the book of Jubilees again. This is chapter 2. This is verse 9.
And God appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days and for Sabbaths, and for months and for feasts, and for years and for Sabbaths of years, and for jubilees and for all seasons of the years.
You react to this.
Exodus, okay.
Yeah.
Exodus 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
All right, so as I was talking about, so he's telling you there's a first month, right? I mean, the first month, we all know what number one means first. It means just, hey, this is the beginning, right? So there's a first month, right? So now you got to figure out what the first month is because this is very important. Because, like I said, that one day throws off everything, but it throws off so much because you don't realize how much is tied to the Sabbath. But the Sabbath is actually easy, right? If you can do multiplication, you'll never forget the Sabbath. And I told y'all there's 364 days, right? So the Sabbath also tracks feasts, right? So let me go and show y'all just calendar that I made. 1 second. So it also tracks feasts, right? So I'll go click this one. Is that up there? All right. So my handwriting ain't too good, right? I don't know why it just came out like that. That's how I was born. I've been working on it for years. Used to get penalties in school. They take a whole grade because my handwriting was bad. Ridiculous. But anyway, so as you see this calendar, right? So you got March, April, May, June, July, August. And I got the numbers of how it would be in Hebrew. So each season has 3 months, two 30-day months and one 31-day month, right? So this is spring, the top. That's March, April, May. So you see this day right here, 91, all right? So that's the last day, that's the 91 day, but it's called like an intercalary day, right? So what it is the season's changing. So today the season is changing. So this is no more winter. At nighttime, we'll be getting into spring, right? Each one of them has those, and the sun goes through this little portal of how it's switching around the earth, whether you believe it's flat or globe. It's going through this portal, right? Really, regardless, it doesn't matter, right? It's going through this portal, and this portal is switching the season, and it's the same every time. This is how you won't forget it, because no matter how it looks, the count will always be the same. So if you look at March 2nd, you look at March, April, and May, June, July, August is the same way. So March is just like June, it's the first month. April is just like July, the second one, and then it's the same way. It's all going to end on that Saturday. Every day starts on the first, for every new season, right? And then when I do it to the other months, it's the same thing. So right here, this is the day we're on, right here. Boom, 364, last day of the year, New Year's, the apple cider. You know what I'm saying? Top to bottom. That's the last day we on, right? But it's the same thing. But you'll never forget that though. You know, like sometimes they like when your birthday, it was Wednesday. Next year is like Friday. Like, well, we skipped 2 days. All right, cool. So I'm thinking it'll be Saturday. Then it's Tuesday. Whoa, what's going on? All that is because of that extra day. The extra day throws off everything. But when it throws it off, now you can't remember how to worship God. But if you go by God's calendar, all you gotta do is count Sabbaths. It's 52 Sabbaths because it's 52 weeks. So you gotta do. What Sabbath I'm on? I'm on the 8th Sabbath, on the 10th Sabbath. What's up?
They supposed to be doing something this year about daylight saving time. That
Nobody follows daylight saving time except for the West. Did you know that?
right.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist.
Stop it. I thought that was something last year.
Benjamin Franklin thought about doing that because he had nothing else to do, and they let him do it.
Last year.
No, but I'm saying, but Benjamin Franklin is where the idea comes from, right? But nobody, if you go to countries like in Iraq and all that other stuff, they don't do this.
But I know I've heard some countries have a different year than what we have as well.
Yeah, that's another thing I was gonna talk about, right? This is the craziest thing in the world, right? So they say Christ is not a real person, but yeah, they say AD stands for after death, which is even weirder because he dies in AD 33. So how can it be after death if he ain't even dead yet? So it should be 33 years after that, then it should start. That's what I'm saying. You're confused. Or let alone, right? Like when I was reading my brother, they was like, why I keep saying like the numbers is 4,000. They started the countdown backwards. It goes from 4,000 BC, 3,000, 2,000 to the year zero, and then it go back up. They don't want you to know what time you in. Because you know what time you in, then you know it's closer than Christ coming. You know about the feast day. This is why the Sabbath is really important. They're trying to scramble your brains. So now, if I'm not mistaken, it's not called before Christ and after death. It's something else. Yeah, it's like before. There you go. After common era, they had to get rid of the Christ part. It's like, oh no, because people will attract too much to it, right? Yeah, because like I said, it doesn't make sense. Even if you say after death, you can't say after death and it's 33 AD because he ain't dead yet. That makes no sense. So it should have been he was like 33 BC or whatever that he should have been 0 BC, right? He should have died from that. Then it should have been after death. But like I said, they're not listening they're not reading for themselves. They're not asking God. You know they do. They go to church. I've been to a few churches like they just go to church, right? And people are at church, they're in the church. But outside, all y'all, you need to be in church outside of church. And what that means is you need to read your Bible, do research, do study. That's how I came across information. You got to do these things because if you don't, I'm telling you, they're going to flip you any which way. I don't care about politics. I don't care about none of that stuff because that doesn't matter. Because we just read God put who he want in business. If I want Elon to run the country, that's who you're going to run. We may say this like we did that. No, he did that, right? Because it's going to be part of the plan that he got just for us. But the problem is we so far from him, we're into their plans. And and I'm trying to tell you, it's really critical. What's going on?
So there have been buildings that they've shown not here, but they had a different year number on it, which was more than what we are actually in.
Correct.
And they just added numbers. So like when black people would say, "Oh, we've had 400 years of slave," I learned a long time ago. My father used to say, "Our time is not his time."
It's not, but like I said, it's that, yeah, it's that, yeah, because it's that one day, that 365. Whoever follows, it don't matter if it's us or that one day changes everything because they're going by the moon. I don't know if y'all noticed the moon got times where it don't show itself, right? So it's 10 days that it don't do that, right? But when it do that, you follow the moon, you're gonna jump into the new year every year wrong. So like I said, so this is why I was a kid. Easter was like in April or March. Now it's in April. Yeah, all because of this one stupid day. It's gonna literally do that because after also the year has Sabbath, right? Sabbatical years. So every 7 years is called a Sabbath year, right? So let's say you know how y'all go. I hope nobody's been in debt. But if you've been in debt with like a bank or something, right? Let's say you got credit reports on your credit, boom. After 7 years, they forgive you for it. They don't give you money back or nothing, but they forgive you for it. Well, they got it from the Bible. After 7 years, let's say Eli owed me money. After 7 years, whatever the case may be, I would have to give him whatever I took from him. So let's say I had his car or something. In 7 years, he's still around, he get his car back. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, he messed up, and God, well, that's the punishment. I get to keep his car, right? But let's say I don't have his car. Whatever his car was worth, he count that throughout the years, and I got to give that to him or something else. They're not going to do that, right? So then let's say the Sabbath year. So it's 7 times 7, which is 49, right? Then you got the sabbatical year. So let's say this home, right? Let's say you lost a home, right? In the sabbatical year, everybody who was lost, they get their stuff back. Everybody who was bought as a slave, you got a chance to get away. If somebody brought you from servant, I don't want to work with Eli no more, I can do this. Let's say Eli dies, God forbid. Let's say he dies, right? And he not around. Somebody, his daughter, his sister, his mother, if somebody else is around his family, they could come redeem his purchase. Right? So God will give you back, because it don't belong to you anyway, it belong to God. So, you know what I'm saying? He'll give it back to you. So I'm gonna show you how God, what the Sabbath does and how it tracks feasts. I mean, how the feast is tracked by it. So this is the book of Sirach. This is in your pocket forever. You don't have one of those, you need to get one of those. Lord, show everybody the book. Good old red book. Some books come with them in them, some of them don't, but you need those books too, right? Because those are books that's out, so you wouldn't know what's going on. The Catholics got this book though; it's in their books. So you want to go get one, to go to a Catholic church and ask them for one. They'll gladly give you one. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 43, verse 6 and verse 7.
He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
All right, so it said the moon is a sign of feast, right? So when I was showing y'all that chart, remember how I had like 91 and stuff like that? This is called the new moon, right? So you know in the world they say I think it's like 13 quote unquote new moons, but in the Bible, new moon don't mean like an actual moon. It means new month, and there's only 4 of them: spring, summer, winter, fall, right? So we go to Leviticus. This is talking about all the days, and I'm showing you that all of them are Sabbath days, or they're based on of the Sabbath. So this is Leviticus 23, verse 5 and verse 6. This is talking about Passover and unleavened bread.
In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
All right, so say the 14th day. So right, so the 14th day we would know would be Saturday if the day started off at 1. The first day was 1. So Sunday is the first day, Saturday is 7th. You start doing math, 7, 14, so forth. You get, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And I'm gonna go back to that just so y'all can be familiar with it, right? So let's say you know all your denominations and all your ways of math. As you can see, 7 times 2 is 14, times 3 is 21, 28. Like I said, as long as you know how to count by 7, you'll never get lost. It's real simple. A child can do this, right?
Have you seen like the 13 month? They said it was what half the 13 month calendar.
Yeah. I seen the 13-month calendar. Enoch disagrees. So I'm going with Enoch because Enoch means teacher, and that's what God said.
The 13th month is from the Coptic calendar. It's like Orthodox.
Yeshayahu, tell him.
But I mean, it would still have.
Like that name.
It would
That's his
still
name.
have if you do it. They showed it because I've been looking at that one. I think of Lord too because I seen because every month will have 28 days. They say the moon is new every 28 days.
So they say the moon's every month 29 days. So this is book, right? I just found this book. It's called the 364-day calendar of Enoch, right? So it's actually like what I drew. But this is how it works. You see how you see the spring, 30, 30, 30. So I got that little line, that little, you see how it's like that little space between the yellow and green? That's that 1 day switching over, right? And 30, 30, 30, I mean 90, 90, 90, I'm sorry, it'll equal 354. I mean 360, I'm sorry. And then those each one of those days, 364 is a complete cycle. Because like I said, you gotta have that day for the everything to shift. Because the angels are actually doing it. I don't really know this, angels do stuff. So angels ain't out here just, hey, what he watching? No, they got jobs too. Okay. So when you be saying how you saw how crazy the wind is, they out there doing that. They like they you know what I'm saying, messing the wind. That's one of their jobs to bring in the season. So the summertime is almost like how you it's spring cleaning, that's what they do. All right, go ahead, turn the heat up over here. That's what they're doing. They're changing the atmosphere or whatever's going on in the world for everybody. Right. But this is like you said, the calendar look just like how I just showed y'all. You see how I got the yellow all the way to the far left. I know it's not big, but they wasn't trying to let me see this because they want you to buy the book. So I'm about a book, but it's the same way. You got all the count. You see how all the days all the ones in the months in the middle are the same. All the ones on the outside the same. But still got that calendar day right there, which is the new seasonal day. And then you got the beginning. It's the same way. Like I said, but you'll never get lost because the thing about it is right at the last day of the year the sun is out for the same amount of time as the moon. So it's equal parts night and equal parts day. That's how you're able to tell which the last day is. That's the only day like that. Now, throughout the year, it's different. They might have 12 parts more at day, more at night. As we get into like October, it's darker, longer, stuff like that. But these are the ways you tell. Don't go by, they say the spring equinox and all that. The spring equinox is actually something they made up because it was the only way to fit in that extra day. Like I said, that 1 day throws off, what I'm saying, every single thing that they're trying to do. So don't look at that 13 calendar. I'm not, against calendars, but the 13-month calendar is kind of crazy. All right, because it's not biblical. That's what I'm going to say. The Bible says 12. People mention that. All right, so this is Leviticus 23, 15, and 16, and this is talking about the Feast of Weeks.
And ye,
First fruit.
and ye shall count unto you from the marrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even until the marrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord.
All right, so there's something about Pentecost. So let me just go to the calendar, which will be. So it said 7 after the Passover, right? So 7 Sabbath after the Passover. So you see March, we got to start the 21st one. So that's 1, 28 is 2, 35 is 3, 42 is 4, 49 is 5, 56 is 6, and then right there on the 63rd, which will be May 3rd this year, that's 7. Bam. You see that? Just by counting Sabbath, you got to the next feast. No other days. You can just, hey, I know it's the Passover. We ate the Passover, it was good. Ate that good lamb. Jew cooked that good lamb, it was good. Had a good sermon. After that, just count Saturdays. Don't even count another day. Just that's your birthday, I guess, in between. Just count Saturdays, right? You count 7 Saturdays, you already know what time it is. It's Pentecost. It's first weeks. Just by counting Sabbath, that's all you got to do. See how easy that is? But just that 1 day when they be like, oh, Passover's on Tuesday. And I was looking up the Jewish calendar, right? Passover is on any day with them. I don't know. They just like, look, we gonna celebrate it. If they outside, they outside. If they not, they not. And I don't think. Oh, here we go. Boom, I got it. So this is how it is going. So you see, Passover the first day. Shabath is the first day. So Shabath is will be unleavened bread for them. Okay. So they said it was Passover is Saturday. Shabath is Sunday. Okay, I can accept that. If it's Passover Sunday, then Shabbat is Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday. So they can deliberately have Passover at any day, right? But Passover has to be on the Sabbath, not a Sabbath that you made, but they got to be on the Sabbath. When we all talked about the Sabbath, it's the seventh day. It's no way. By this calendar, you'll be all over the place, right? And this is supposed to be the ones leading, so all their days is off just because of that. Now, mind you, they still count the 50 days I just told y'all, the 7 weeks. They still count that. So it's in order that way, but just because it's not on the Sabbath, everything is thrown off because they're still trying to implement the 365-day calendar into their rules, which I really don't understand how that even a thing because they have that 13-month thing. They're using that too. They be doing whatever they want over there, but nobody, I guess, questions them. They be doing whatever they want. All right, so this is a few more feast days talking about how the Sabbath. So this is Leviticus 23 and 24.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, an holy convocation.
All right, and you go to Psalms 81 and 3. So we know the trumpet, that's trumpets, right? So that's in the 7th month.
Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day.
All right, so in the time appointed, right? Because they got to be a certain time in the solemn feast day. So I'm gonna go back to that calendar, right? Which one is that? Boom. So this will be August, right? So in August, this is what trumpets will be. You see where it says that 182? That's the day where we would celebrate the trumpets, right? So that's, you see this blue, so that means it's a new moon. Like they said, blowing a trumpet, it's a new moon, so it's a new season. But it's also the day of the trumpets, was like I said, which it says is the first day. Hold on. When you look at September, it's the first day, 183, right? Because like I said, sometimes they all go together because this is a transitional day, and then you have the day itself that we in. Just depending on how you look at it, like I said, if it's night or that's too much information. That's night or day or whatever. Let me switch back over to the thing.
So, if you know, would the moon, the blood moon, be that proto moon probably?
With the moon is switching over?
Yeah.
No, because I didn't see the moon. If it's blood tonight, then yeah, we can say that. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it was like week ago, so it felt like.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, though. So this is the thing, though. I don't know about that's how the moons work because you get the book of Enoch and the book of Jubilees, right? I didn't put this into it, but it goes in detail. It tells you exactly what the moon and it will do on these particular times. So you'll know where the moon is, see where it is by the sun and all these things. Just based off of how they're describing it in, like I said, the book of Jubilees and Enoch, right? All right, so this is the Feast of Tabernacles, and this is talking about how, like I said, it's still based off Sabbath. 23, 34, Leviticus 23 and 39.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. And the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
All right, so that's talking about tabernacle. Same thing, right? It's you still basing this off of Sabbath to another Sabbath, but like I said, that's how you count. Just count. Just know your Sabbaths. You know your ABC. You just know your Sabbath. You're good. Hey, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 52 of them, right? And in between, you'll figure it out by what's going on. It's kind of cool. Okay, chunk might be coming up. Oh, it's kind of warm. Such and such might be coming up just by knowing your Sabbaths. But I'm gonna tell y'all the real critical part about, like I said, not knowing your Sabbaths. So there's a difference between our Sabbaths and God's Sabbaths, right? So this is Ezekiel 23:38. Y'all know about Ezekiel. Ezekiel had to go into the church, and God was showing him what was going on in the church, right? They was prostituting, doing drugs, all types of things in the church. And this is God talking about how they was destroying the church in the Sabbath right here. So this is Ezekiel 23 and verse 38.
Moreover, this they have done unto me. They have defiled my sanctuary in the same day and have profaned my Sabbaths.
So it says they said they defiled my sanctuary as God speaking, in the same day they have profaned my Sabbath. So he's trying to tell you, because mine means ownership, right? If I go outside and Eli with me and he hit a car, and he was like, "Oh, he hit out this car. That's my car he hit, right?" Now if I go and hit his car or something, that's his car. So it's an ownership. So words mean something. Don't let nobody say like, "Oh, that's not what that means." It just mean it was doing God's Sabbath wrong. No, they got their own Sabbaths. What they do today? Oh, our Sabbath on a Sunday. I just showed you that. I just showed you that they were doing Sabbath different days, and he's gonna talk about it right here. So this is Isaiah chapter 1, verses 9 through 11. Because, like I said, if somebody talks about a Sabbath day, they base it off of this New Testament thing when it says you don't judge somebody in the Sabbath. So apparently you can just make up a Sabbath day. But if you can make up a Sabbath day, is it really holy still? Because now you're just making up whatever days you want to make up, right? So this is Isaiah 1 chapter 1, 9, verses 9 through 15. So chapter 1, 9 through 15. So you just read the whole through.
Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me, saith the Lord? I am full of the burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he goats.
Keep going.
When ye come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations, and incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts my soul hateth. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood.
All right, you see where it says your new moons, your appointed feast? That's different than mine. Like I said, so you got a new year. If I said this the new year, they say the new year is January 1st. That's not the same. So imagine, so let's say that, right? So people say, well, God did know our heart. Yeah, he do know your heart, right? But it doesn't matter. Even if he sees us as a family celebrating on these days, he don't care about them songs, Christmas carols. He don't care about none of that. He just say, I close my ears so I don't want to hear it because it has nothing to do with him. We don't know that. But they think they'll tell you at church it's okay. No, it's not okay. God really don't want to hear that. He really don't care about none of the Christmas carols, none of your New Year's parties. He's not celebrating that, right? Because they're really not feast of ours. They're feast of the Gentiles, right? And it says they bringing abominations, incense, all these type of things. Like I said, so this is another thing they do, like Christmas, right? They'll say, well, we know it's not God, but we doing it, Christmas, we honoring God. You can't make something unholy holy, right? That doesn't make any sense. That's like saying I was, unaliving children on a day, and then Eli was like, "Well, that's they was doing that, but we gonna do it different. We gonna like have kids that day." Just stay away from the day in general because you don't know it's actually a spiritual thing going on. Like Halloween, it's like a lot of witchcraft, war stuff going on. For instance, right? I tell you all the time. I think I said it before. Halloween is so weird. So when I was a child, my mom, this was weird. I thought it was weird at first, but I get it now. Let me see your candy. Probably because I want some of our candy. Let's see your candy. And people putting, stuff inside the candy, right? All types of needles and stuff like that. People say that's wrong, right? They say that's wrong. You should do it as children. But this crazy part about it is you miss the whole thing. When you come to somebody's door, you say trick or treat. So if they don't decide to give you a treat, that's the trick. You playing in the game. Like you mad about a game you participating in. It's crazy. It makes no sense. Or they'll tell you what they say, don't talk to strangers. You go around the whole neighborhood talking to people you've never met in your life. It's all strangers. I hate Halloween because I don't know who. It be my best friend. Like, who is that? They're like, that's Abe. Somebody, you sure that's Abe, bro? Like, everybody got on the man. That's so dangerous. But look at that, all because they want the children to have fun. But not realizing God don't want you to participate in this because it's really dangerous. Like really dangerous. And all the feast days they do and stuff is dangerous. So you can't do something dirty and then mask it and say, oh, nah, it's good because we doing this. It's still dirty. The root of it's dirty. You can't tell me a Christmas tree. God said don't put no trees in your house. Well, we not doing it like that. Hey, do you really need a tree to give gifts to somebody? Right? I never understood this, right? You know that you bought the gifts. You know Santa Claus is not real, but yet you put Santa on the gift to give to your children. And then on the gifts you want to give, you put for the clothes or something. You'll put, oh, for mom and dad. So you telling me they don't make clothes in those poles? Like, that makes no sense, bro. But you can, and like, so for instance, right? I love all y'all, whatever, but my concern is for the babies. Because they don't know I was once a baby. That's very, like I said, dangerous and detrimental to these kids because they don't know no better. And they can't do nothing without us, right? They can't go to no football game because they're not going to let you in. You can't go back to the toy store, keep buying toys, and be like, where your parents at, right? The parents is really responsible for a lot of these children, right? But if we keep following the ways of the world, we always going to be lost. Y'all can't follow the ways of the world. It's the problem. I get it. You grew up that way, stuff like that. But yeah, when you start looking into all these dangers and things like that, like for instance, like a honeymoon. Did y'all know a honeymoon? It's like they was kidnapping women. Yeah, exactly. You didn't know that. People say the honeymoon is when you go away with your girl for whatever after y'all been with each other already. When you go, when you go to a special place, no, it's not. So so like for instance, what I guess it's called the groomsman, right? A groomsman isn't something traditional because it's not like, oh, I want Vincent to be here, 11 minutes. They were there because they were kidnapping women. So the groomsmen are actually here to protect the girls. That's why they said you can have as many groomers as you need, because back then they were trying to protect everybody. But see, they don't tell you those stories. So when they don't tell you these stories, now you just participate in stuff. Tradition, and you're doing all these things. Honeymoon is not a good thing. I'm not saying you can't go out with your spouse after you get married. I'm not saying that. But the root of a honeymoon, all these things are bad. Right? And this is what God wants you to participate in, because you're doing these things and not realizing this is why the spirit level is up. Because people don't know, a lot of honeymoons, people get raped, kidnapped, murdered, all these type of things. Um, Same thing, like I said, with the wedding, you throwing a little bouquet and all this other stuff. Like I said, y'all don't know because I don't know if I told you that before. Demons have to act off law, right? Called legally binding. So they got to come to Christ and God and present a case. So let's say me and Eli, we outside, we running red lights because we just doing what we want to do, right? The demons gonna go to God like, yeah, they out here running red lights. God like, yeah. I mean, they all breaking the land of law, but whatever. Let's say we running red lights and we messing with girls smoking. People be doing that. So when they give them the like, look what they doing. Christ like, all right, he right off on it. So now when you at work, you missed a day of work or something like that. You got flat tires, all this other stuff. It's actually demons doing this for permission from God. They got to, because you just sign up for it. It's like, all right, so such and such was doing this and that, right? This is how this works. So everything is done on a spiritual battle. We don't see it because everybody all in the flesh. What's going on here? But all that stuff is spiritual. Like for instance, right? I tell people like vows. You go to a wedding, you make vows. God say don't make no vows. But everywhere you go, you make vows, right? Oh, it's in the Bible. I found when I went to one of my brother's wedding, I was like, "What are you reading from?" I think it's from the Bible. It's like a little document that he get from the state of wherever you at, this state of Maryland, that got these. Yeah, you honor, obey, and trust. That's not in the Bible. It don't say none of that. But just think about it though. When you go places, right? All these churches and stuff like that. This is what you're coming to. So it's like you gotta stay away from it, right? Now, mind you, you've been in it before. It's okay. God forgives you for it. He understands. This is why grace is here. He know that you're going to do these things, right? But once you realize that, you got to come up out of them. Like I said, there's evil spirits. I told my friend not to take his kid out on Halloween. He like was wrong. I don't know if y'all know that. Did y'all know over 800,000 kids go missing that night? Every year. That's 1,000,000 children. Like I can't even imagine. Like, hey, where's little Gina, man? They gone.
Every
Done.
year, though.
Every year. Crazy. Right? So it is really weird. People like, oh, like you had to then you have the moments on TikTok and all social media where they're like, oh, girls get kidnapped. This is happening all the time. The difference is now social media, right? Is so many different things. I remember when I was a child. I don't know if you remember this. I was a child. I used to come home and there'd be like the little cards sitting on top of the mailboxes. It had like a missing child on it, and I was like, "Dang, somebody gone again!" Like, you know what I'm saying? So this been happening, but now they make the world's crazy. Nah, it's been happening. It's just on different levels, different schemes.
Be on the milk too.
Just be on the milk, right? And they'll show it on TV as if it's cool. But like I said, the problem is like I said, as parents, they're not teaching nobody this. They teaching all the girls they princess. They teaching everybody the wrong thing. And like I said, the children don't know. And I don't know if I told y'all about this, right? So I told y'all about how you can hear different sounds depending on your age. Okay, cool. So I was watching this show called Evil, right? It's like a little show about this priest or whatever. It's supposed to be he's with this what's like a psychiatrist or like a psychiatrist lady. She don't believe in demons. So no matter how demonic the situation is, she gonna explain it through science and psychology. Then they got this other dude, he a scientist, Ben. It ain't real. It's because the light was here, this and that, they made a red face. Yeah, he all technology, but then you got a priest who really believe in this stuff, right? So it was a girl on YouTube, right? And she was this made me think of my nephew and them. It was a girl on YouTube and she was like doing an advertising. It was like, yeah, you stay to the end of the show, XYZ. So in the beginning of the show, these girls kept singing this song. And they're like, where y'all get the song from? They're like, we don't know. They singing it and keep singing it, right? But what they didn't know is this video it had music in the background, right? But when you get to a certain age, like you know how like dogs can hear dog whistles, when you get to a certain age, there's certain frequencies you can't hear no more. right, as your human body. Now a machine could pick it up, but you can hear it. So the whole video, all the parents, their parents was watching it, and they sat for the 3 hours. Man, it's just stupid. That's what happened. But the kids could hear something totally different. So they can hear the girl talking, but under that, they can hear the dude saying, "I want all y'all to come to my army, come join my army." So the kids can hear that, right? So after that one, it was another one under that, like another voice. So you say to the whole thing, it was another voice saying, "Yeah, I want y'all souls," and it was saying to stick like a screwdriver or something in your ear. So all the kids was like, start stabbing themselves in the ear because we can only hear on certain sonical levels. And I say this because one day I was watching, I wasn't watching. My niece and nephew was home. They was watching Madagascar. This is one of the scariest things in my life. They watched Madagascar. I'm like, yo, Jay, Imani. They like this. And just look at me, like, y'all good? And just turn around. But now, not knowing that I know that, they could have been hearing something I could never hear. Why do they want all these kids to watch all these fantasy, magical movies of ogres and beasts? Like, all these things is evil, right? And I get it. You kids got to watch something, right? But if you're not there to really guide them, they don't get lost in this stuff. Like I said, you know how many times I went to the store and asked my mom to get this nasty cereal because a character on it was I like that food was probably horrible. But I was like, yeah, but such and such over here, food tastes like dirt, right? But they gonna get it because she don't want to hear me cry and stuff like that. So it's the same thing with the feast. Like I said, Christmas, Thanksgiving. If everybody think that the Indians got slain on Thanksgiving, what we celebrate Thanksgiving for? Oh well, we just getting together with families. Why can't we just pick another day? Let them have their day. Hey, go ahead, have that day. You can have that day. You know what I'm saying? Let them have that day. But the problem is like I said, we don't know these things, and if we don't know these things, we gonna keep participating. Like I was at the dollar store today or yesterday. I still don't know what St. Patrick's Day is. I really don't. I really don't. I don't know. They're looking for the leprechaun. Oh, all that I know about St. Patrick's Day. That's my man's birthday. That's all I know. He around that same time, so hey, we doing it for him. But that's it. I don't understand what it is, right? But it's a tradition that they're doing. So just think about a tradition. You participate because you want to drink, or you want to do this, or you want to do that. And then when you do it, not realizing the spiritual openness because you don't see that. But then, like I said, there's rituals done, all these type of things. So like Thanksgiving, when you get these turkeys from the store, I saw a video with this Jewish guy. He was praying over the turkeys. I don't even pray with my turkey, bro. I can do my own prayer. I just need to know how much it costs. $59.99, let me get it. He prayed over the Joe said, getting it down. And the crazy part about it is like I said, they put it in your face on TV, but they always kind of like desensitize you because they'll take somebody who's doing evil and make him seem good because they'll put another evil person there that's like super evil, and it's like, yeah, well, they really evil, so he can't be as evil. I'm like, no, bro, he evil. All right, it's all evil, and so I don't want y'all to get into that mix. So this is why we can't forget the Sabbath, right? Because this is going to talk about all these feasts and holidays. So this is Colossians 2. This is what I was talking about when they were talking about don't worry about what Sabbath is what Sabbath. Colossians chapter 2, verses 16 through 18.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of an a holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ. Let no man beguile you of your reward in a voluntary humility, in who worshipping of angels, intruding into those things which he hath not seen, vainly puffed up by his fleshly mind.
All right, so it says, let nobody judge you in meat, drink, respect of a holy day, new moon, Sabbath, right? So when you talk to people now that read the Bible, they'll say, well, see, that's what we mean. You can't say that I can't worship on Sunday, stuff like that, because you're not respect, right? But this is a Jew talking. This ain't an African. It's not an Ethiopian. It's not an Asian guy. This is a Jew talking. He talking about his customs. So when he's talking about new moon, this is what we in right now. A Sabbath day, which we in right now. A holy day, which we're in right now, and the respect of it, because he knows how much it means. He knows that it goes back to God and all this stuff, right? But they don't. But he's telling them, don't let nobody else talk about you to do this. Everybody goes Sabbath Sabbath. Oh, you don't got that. We can do it on Sunday. Don't fall for it. Cause that's what they did, right? Just Constantine guy and all them, they changed the rules. And let me see, I think I got that too. 1 second. Changed all the rules and was like, oh no, y'all can do whatever y'all want, whatever day y'all want to.
I know he thought that was in Romans.
We go talk about this, right?
Oh, you talking about that what I just read? Yeah, I thought it was in Romans too. But in Romans it talks about like meat or whatever. So let me see. So I actually got it. Y'all can see the screen, right?
You should move it.
That's cool.
Christmas here.
Change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, right?
Sorry, my time is slow. That was a good one though.
That's cool, bro.
I'll catch you on the next one.
Look at this guy right here.
Excuse me. I have one question to everybody.
Come on with a docket. That's a little bit.
My wife told me I'm the only one that can't read that. Can everybody else read that?
Read what?
The little letters on the screen.
Yeah.
Like this one, like that,
No,
like
I
that.
can read that. I'm talking
Oh,
He said the other one when you had it first.
yeah.
oh, it's kind of small. You couldn't read. I don't understand.
No, she said I'm the one blind in here. That's what she's telling me.
I don't know where is that. I'll bring it back up though in a second. Am I read or leave? Yeah, you did. So I read that right. All right, so there's that book of Jubilees again. So I'll read this while he's gone. This is Jubilees chapter 1. This is verse 12 and 13. It says, "And I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the Gentiles for captivity and for a prey and for devouring, and I will remove them from the midst of the land. And I will scatter them amongst the Gentiles, and they will forget all my law and all my commandments and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons and Sabbaths, festivals, jubilees, and ordinances." Verse 14 through 15, it says, "And after this they turned to me from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart and with all their soul and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the Gentiles, and they will seek me. So that I shall be found of them, when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. And I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness. And I will remove them the plan of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul. And they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse. And they shall be a head and not the tail." So it's saying that y'all gonna go away, right? We all gonna go away. If you Jew, all the Jews is gonna go away from their stuff. They don't forget who they are, their commandments, the laws, all that stuff. And you know what's crazy? It fits us perfectly because y'all don't know nothing. Oh, we from Africa. What part? Wakanda? Nope, they ain't real. Real life. We all came on boats. It's cool, right? But then you gotta tell me where you all coming from, because you can't just say we from Africa, but then you say we was kings and queens of Egypt. So are we all Egyptian? Well, no, different dissects. So you can't tell me, who I am, right? But this makes more sense because you don't know who you are. You don't got no heritage, you don't know no culture. You've been called everything except for one thing, which is a Hebrew, right? You've been called black, Negro, everything, like copperhead, penny nickel, everything. I've never been called that though. I've never been called mulatto. I never been called that. That might be somebody mixed. Color, yeah. You've been called everything. What they call them now, like woke black. I don't know. It's always something new. We the only ones that's going through all these changes. I'm not saying about say go through no changes, but we got a long list of name changes, right? Which is crazy. So I'm past that Jubilees. I'm in chapter 6 now.
Okay.
So this is Jubilees chapter 6, and it talks about those 4 divisions I was telling y'all about. Chapter 6, verses 23, I think, through 38-ish. I think, like something like that. 38-ish.
6.
Can you read it on the numerals?
Yeah.
It's pretty tough.
Let's see, 6, 23, and 30. I'm gonna turn to 7. Hold on.
You drunk? Do you like Roman numerals?
Yeah.
No, you don't, because that's 13. It's supposed to be at 6. You're not from Rome, I guess. I'm from DC, little baby Rome. Nope. That's 7.
7.
It's the V with the all the 6. See, I know about that. I was playing like basketball. If you watch basketball, you would know.
It is. And 23.
It's 23 right here.
Yeah, the one right before.
Right there. Yep. You got for the page anyway. All right, so this is verse 23.
And on the new moon of the 1st month, and on the new moon of the 4th month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever.
Keep going.
And Noah ordained them for himself as feast of the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him.
All right, so you see it said the new moon in the first month, fourth month, seventh month, and tenth month. It didn't say all the months because it's just the seasons, breaking them in spring, summer, winter, and fall, right? All right, go ahead.
And on the new moon of the first month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth.
See what I'm saying? And also tell the story. So the new moon, the first month, the first day, that's when he's building the ark. See how it all ties to the story. You would know that though if you know your Sabbaths and things like that. But they're not gonna tell you. They just say, "Yo, Noah built the ark, and we don't believe he built the ark." So anyway, you got all these animals in the ark, and we talked about it earlier. You was asking about incest. Well, it's easy to have all animals in the ark. First of all, the ark is really big. If you've never seen it, I think it's in.
I know it's huge.
Yeah, it's a place that they redid it. I think it's in Kentucky.
Yeah.
They redid the ark. But I tell you all the time, first of all, you don't have to have every single animal, right? Because two animals of that kind will create all the different variations. Just like how Adam and Eve created all different colors of people. Same thing like us. Like you might have a parent, they both like, I'm darker than my mom and my dad, right? So my little brother. So I look at them like, you are my parents. But they also cover parents because my grandfather dark. It's all like a one mixing pot. So you're gonna have different variations, just like animals. So you might have like swans, right? So a swan, a duck, all them the same thing. It's just a different variation. Now, once they get to the last variation of that particular color or whatever, so let's say the swan is all white, the duck got the collar around his neck, stuff like that. It's a little different. After that, it won't go no further than that. And then when you try to cross them, like you try to cross like a tiger and a lion, you get a liger. But after that, it can't mate no more. So there's a limitation to it. So God put limitations because people gonna start doing it. But oh yeah, let's do this and yeah, we're gonna start doing that, right? Yeah, because that's what they do. You ever seen Jurassic Park? They gene splicing. Yeah, so yeah, I tell people that all the time. They even small dogs. I say, yo, these dogs are not natural dogs. You think a Chihuahua's natural, bro? Like, what would that do in the wild? There's nothing. Yeah, a chicken probably get at that thing. It's not gonna do it, but all you gotta do is take, oh, well, you got little ears. Let's take that out. Boop. And then you get all these different strains. But then, if you ever heard about dogs, dogs have a lot of problems. They be having too big of heads. They get sick. They pause. All this stuff be happening because they're not natural. They're cross splice. Now, if you want to cross splice and have not a natural animal but something like a beast, you cross splice like the angels did when they was here before the flood. They were turning into the animal and doing it to the animal, right? Get nasty, yeah. But that's how you get these super animals like the kraken stuff like that. That's how he was making them. So it's like if I turn into a lizard and I do it with a lizard, I'm gonna get a dinosaur. that's cross splice at its finest, right? But you still create something that God didn't make, which should be considered an abomination. All right. So you don't want to do that at all either.
They've been doing that in science labs to use bring animals and people DNA together and stuff. And a lot of people say I saw monsters. That's what you could see.
Yeah, because you also control everything too. Like I said, if you can make it, I mean, like just think about it. Like, why would I let chickens do what they do when I could just clone them? I mean, maybe the chicken ain't gonna be good. I mean, he might like be super big and can't walk, but I mean, it's chicken, right? You know what I'm saying? And you can make money, but you can control everything, and that's what it's all about. It's not about money, because money is whatever we make it. You know, money can be sticks, gold, it can be pillows, but control is different if it's a different situation. Like for instance, right? Why do we gotta pay or have a parking space or a rental property to go to the river? This don't belong to all of us. You go to river, you go to some rivers, it's illegal to go in some rivers. Like that's crazy. Like who owns the river? Like are you God? Like I don't understand. How do you own the river? Whoever owns the river, I need to talk to them. I'm trying to swim, so I need to know who owns the river. So just think about how they own rivers, lakes, and stuff like that. That's earthly stuff, right? So they own that. Just think about things because we supposed to get baptized in the river. And there's something you own the rivers, we can't get baptized, and I gotta get baptized in the church inside the pool with no chlorine in it. So it's all there. People spitting it because they, whatever the case may be. All right, so this is verse 26 to 30.
And on the new moon of the fourth month, the months of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the seventh month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the water began to descend into them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on this account, he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tables. Each had 13 weeks. from one to another, past their memorial, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 250 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete.
Oh, we see that, right? So he said that they got all those days. So I found it. Give me 1 second. I had to go back to this because these quotes is crazy. Because somebody was arguing about, well, we changed the Sabbath, but I was like, God didn't change the Sabbath, but they did. So I'm gonna show you what they did. It's gonna pop up. Boom! Division of days. So it says today's standard 7-day week is an idea that developed in the ancient Near East in Genesis. That's funny. In Genesis, the story of creation covers 7 days. The 7th day became the Sabbath day of rest in AD 321. Emperor Constantine made the 7-day week official. Jews observed the Sabbath on Saturday. But Christians changed the day of rest to Sunday to commemorate Jesus' resurrection. The calendars here show many ways to visualize the divisions of times, highlighting days of rest, whether Saturdays or Sundays, and marking biblical holidays, Easter, Passover, Christmas, and others, right? We just read the feast days. Easter wasn't one of them. Neither was Christmas. Passover was one, right? This is H.F. Thomas, Chancellor of Cardinal Gibbons. Of course, the Catholic Church claims that they changed Saturday, Sabbath to Sunday. Was her act, and the act is a mark of her ecclesiastical authority in religious things. So now I found out people got authorities. I went to a Mormon church, and we opened the Book of Mormon. The first thing it says is that they are the sole authority of the church. So I said, oh, excuse me, didn't know that. So now I'm curious. I got to read this book now because they feel like their word will trump everybody's word, even the Pope. I was like, you trump the Pope? You can't trump the Pope. Like, you trump the Pope's word, right? There's another one, a Catholic Record of London, Ontario, September 1st, 1923. Sunday is our mark of authority. The church is above the Bible. And this transference of Sabbath of service is proof of the fact. This is the reason why people love the Pope or they don't say nothing about the Pope. He say he's above the Bible. So he's like Jesus on earth. So if you want to get to God, you can go through the Pope. You don't got to go through Christ. He's like door number 2. Like, you can go this way too. Because that line might be busy. You come over here. I got you. Don't worry about it. That's what we just read. It says Pope Sylvester officiating on Sunday, the Lord's Day, in AD 338. Eusebius, the court bishop of Constantine, wrote all things whatsoever that it was the duty to do on the Sabbath, the 7th day of the week. We, Constantine, Eusebius, and other bishops have transferred to the Lord's Day, the first day of the week, as more appropriate belonging to it. So they're showing you times where somebody changed God's day, right? But God don't change. So who are you to change God's day? We can't change nothing God did already, right? But just changing that one day, like I said, it changes everything on the calendar. Now everything's messed up, and now you all confused. All right. So this is the part I was talking about what happens when you don't follow the Sabbath, right, and you get lost.
Thus, it is engraved and ordained.
What verse you want?
31.
It's not right though. Yeah. I'm gonna just read off this one.
Okay.
It says in verse 31, it says, and there is no neglecting this commandment, right? You know what neglecting mean, right? Because people neglect their children. No neglecting this commandment for a single year or from a year to year. So he's telling you, you can't do it for 1 year or any year. Because if you do, you can get lost, right? It says, and command thou the children of Israel that they observe the years according to this reckoning. 364 days, which I told y'all, and these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its day and from its feast, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony. And they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast. So you follow this calendar, it's always going to be on Saturdays. It's always, whatever day you expect it to be, when you was born, it's always going to be in that same day. But if you come out of this and you follow this wrong way, it's going to be a consequence. It says, but if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and their years will be dislodged from them, from this order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of years, and will forget the new moons, which is the seasons, so I know what season you're in, and seasons and Sabbaths, and they will go wrong as to all the orders of the years. As it continues, it says, for I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising, for the book lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the divisions of days is ordained. lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons and coming from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason, the years will come upon them. They will disturb the order and make an abominable day, like Christmas, the day of a testimony, an unclean day, like New Year's, a feast day with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees. For this reason, I command and testify to thee that thou mayest testify to them. For after thy death, thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make thee the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. So just because you forgot the calendar date, you about to go down a bad path because you lost. You don't know anything. So now you're gonna start eating food that will be eating all the days. Like I said, the days that it said that the days that are unholy, you want to try to make them holy. You can't do that. Like I said, it's not a day for you to participate in, right? But they'll find a way. Well, we just referencing God this day. We doing this and that. Like, why? God ain't tell you to do that. He gave you the days that He said do, because the days that we're doing, like I said today, they're doing in heaven. No matter what you do on Christmas, hey God, we let you worship Him. They're down there looking like, but we ain't doing nothing up here. We playing a game. Not doing that. So y'all participate in something and you want God to like accept that. God don't accept these things like that. Like I said, obedience is better than sacrifice. So you can make all the sacrifice excuses in the world, but if you just listen, you don't even put yourself in that position. Like for instance, right? Christmas comes on December 25th. People be going broke, spend all their money in debt. Well, we just had bless you. We just had Purim, right? And Purim right around tax time. By that time, you back on schedule, right? When your buddy start cutting back flow, he already heard what you're gonna do. That's what I'm saying. He already given it to you. But instead of you want to, well, my family, this and that, it's like, yeah. But see, the problem I always had, right, even before I found God, is all the lies in between. I go to the mall, Santa's white, cool. Next year, he black, and he got on glasses. Hold on, man. This is what they do. That's not the real Santa. He the one that fill in. All right, cool, no problem, right? Cool. Look at my house. I ain't got no chimney. How you get in here? Tell you the back door unlock? Because I can't see the back door unlock. But now I'm trying to think, what type of credentials does this guy got when he come to my house? I can't even come to my house when after a certain time. But he come in the house. You live in milk and cookies and all that, right? Just think about all the lies that they do. But this is the problem I hate, right? So let's say you got children who do believe in this, right? I know your little ones here, but you have children who do believe in this, right? This is a problem because they're looking for this. So let's say when they say you gotta be naughty or nice, right? But let's say your child is really good, but y'all poor and they don't get nothing. That child gonna live off that lie. That's very bad, right? And you don't want that to happen because, like I said, I know most of the things that shaped my life is from my childhood. It's not when I was a dog. It's not when I was a late teen. None of that. Everything came from being a child. I was doing this or doing that, hearing this, hearing that. It's like all this is in child mode. So now when I get older, I was like, oh, that's what they was doing, X, Y, Z. The mind, I don't have no children of my own, but it's like, yeah, so I see the problem. Everything's happening during childhood because this is the most vulnerable time because they're impressionable. I be working to a kid. He like, what you say? I ain't saying nothing. I'm just messing with him because I got nothing else to do, right? But he don't know no better. So he really believed me. I couldn't pull it off on one of y'all. Eventually, but get on my face, man, leave me alone. Not a kid, because everything is new to them. So if everything is new to them, whether it's a dog, cat, all these things, you confusing the children slowly but surely. Oh, it's a million different species. You lying to these kids, man. We find new species every day. Now you find a different variation maybe of a species, but you can't tell me certain things. Like they tell you animals extinct, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they not, but it's kind of hard for you to be sure because y'all can't even explore the whole world. I don't know if y'all ever seen on the map. I'll talk about this. You ever seen the map? Y'all seen Florida on the map, right? They said it's a jungle in Africa the size of Florida. A jungle. I used to live in Miami. That's a pretty big city. You said the whole state of Florida is a jungle? It could be dinosaurs. It could be Sasquatch probably there. Everything, Loch Ness monsters, everything could be there. Like I said, I'm just not big on the lies. And now I know what is what. These lies is triggering to the children because the children don't know no better. They always gonna participate. You want to give your kids gifts? Cool, that's cool. You want to give your kids candy because around Halloween, that's cool. They don't gotta dress up like no ghouls though. No ghouls and demons and monsters and I want to be this. Why do you want to be that anyway? Why do you want to be these characters in these shows, right? Because it looks cool. But then I was telling somebody I was at work, they was watching all these. I can't stand Disney. They watching all these Disney shows. I said this teaches kids a lot of bad stuff. You don't see it, but I do. I said I'm older. For instance, Aladdin is a thief, right? He steals. That was one of my favorite characters. I had the toy. I want his costume. He a thief though. That's not good. The girl at work says, "Well, he was stealing from the rich. They steal from us." I said, "Okay, so it's a girl who's adventurous right behind me." I said, "So we agree with stealing?" And she was like, we agree with stealing? Because that's what you teaching the kids. Because that's what I thought. So I'm stealing because the lad stealing is cool. Then they said he a princess. He ain't no prince. I mean, he not a prince. He was never a prince. He was a bum. He ran to the genie. Hey, make me look good for shorty. She do it, right? Which is crazy. But I don't know if y'all know this. I'm gonna try to find it while we talking while we eat food. He takes her up on a because my wife watching it. I knew all the songs too. This is my movie. He takes Jasmine on the carpet ride. Everything he's saying is a scripture from what Satan was saying to God in Isaiah. Like I can take you above the stars and all this. I was like, this is crazy. Like, but I know all the words. I'm like, hold on a minute, that don't even sound right no more. But I was a kid. I don't know because it looked cool. I want a carpet ride. I want to fly. Like I like that type of stuff. But like I said, the babies know because that I'm 30 years old and that still stuck with me. And I saw that when I was like maybe 5, 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we got to think about those things when, like I said, when these kids watching, the babies, all this stuff. That's really a problem. All right.
My granddaughter, when she was little, she used to watch these, you know, these supposedly kid-friendly cartoons. You've probably seen them, where they had this little boy or little girl, and every time that they asked him if he did something, he lied.
Mm.
I didn't do that. They just showed him doing it. Then they asked him, I didn't do that. You know, it's like, I said, you can't watch that. She said, why? I said, because she's teaching you how to lie. So,
Oh, we don't watch that. I have no clue what that is.
They talking about Kaya.
Yeah, but it's crazy though. But like, not, it is not all cartoons, right? But it's a majority of them. Like I said, when I used to go back and look at certain cartoons as an adult, I'm a kid. When you're a kid, it's not that the world we don't care. The world is free. But when you go as an adult, I used to watch A and Nettie. There's no parents in this show. There's no parents in this show. Yeah, but there's no parent. I hadn't seen one adult in the whole show. Like, and it got like a million episodes. There's no adult. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is crazy. Yeah. But we don't see it that way. That's kind of cool. Like, for instance, the dude was like, he made Professor X, he makes the Powerpuff Girls, sugar, spice, and everything nice. That's how you make brownies and weed brownies, but that's not how you make children. You make children, but I don't know that. It just sounds cool to me. You can't do that. You can't do that. So like I said, if you are watching it with your children, at least guide them and let them know what's going on. Right? If you go look up an ogre like Shrek, that's an evil creature, bro. Now, mind you, Shrek is like I say, he's a nice guy. He cool, this and that, but that's a real evil creature. But like I said, the problem is we don't realize these things. Like Pinocchio, real evil too. That was one of my favorite cartoons. I'm like, bro, they sitting the kids, they got the kid. I was watching Pinocchio. I wanted to smoke and drink because that's what they had the kids doing. But you do that, you turn into a donkey, right? Or whatever it can be, and then you get sold. Like, hold on, bro. What is this? But as a kid, that's amazing. Because I know my mind goes to, like I said, fantasy world. So this is Isaiah 66, chapter 23, and then we're going to read the Psalms.
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
The reason why I showed y'all this, and ended with this, before I get to the Psalms, you see it says from one new moon to another Sabbath. So the new moon and the Sabbath don't mean anything. Okay, let's say I agree. But this is a prophecy from Isaiah that happened when Christ comes back. So if it don't mean nothing, it clearly means something when he come back, right? So let's say it don't mean nothing right now. When he come back, it says all flesh. And what it mean by all flesh, it means everybody. All of us, if you hear, animals, I guess the aliens, angels, everybody. Everybody going to worship on the Sabbath and new moon. They're going to worship the Lord. So that it's very important. They will always tell you this don't matter or that don't matter or you can't eat pork. It's a scripture where Christ talks about killing people who eating swine. That's what I'm saying. So, but people won't tell you that. They're like, oh, that's not true. That's what the book said. But these are prophecies that has not happened yet, right? They always talk about Christ being loved, this and that. Okay, Christ does got love. He do got respect, but that's because that was in the mission. In that mission, he can't hurt nobody. In that mission, he got to do certain things because he only here to preach the gospel, get put on the cross, right? But he said come back. When he come back, it said, who is it that comes from Bosra? Look like he been in the wine press. So we know Christ got on a white robe, right? His robe gonna be so red from blood, it look like he been just playing in grapes all day. So that means he gonna be killing people, right? They'll talk to you about that. They say, oh, Christ is that person. Nah, God is a God of war. Like he coming to destroy who he got to destroy. Like I said, when you read the Bible, it's different when you read it compared to when you hear somebody talking to you about it. Like the story of David when I was a kid, David and Goliath, which I know about a slingshot, right? I thought that was cool too. I didn't know he cut Goliath's head off. I didn't know that part. They don't tell you that really in the cartoon. They like,
Put it on a stick.
and he put on the stick. Like, yeah, come get y'all man. You know what I'm saying? They don't tell you all that. Like they always, like I said, misinform you of these things because, like I said, you're going by what somebody's saying. Just read for yourself. Like for instance, I told you about this last time. Y'all know about the wise men that would see Christ. The wise men would give Christ. How many? Do y'all know how many wise men it was?
A bunch of them.
There's a bunch of them, right? But they teach us three. Three wise men. Why? Who told you the book never say that? It could have been 30 of them. Could have been two. It don't say that. But they putting stuff on it. So they doing that. Like I said, what else could they be doing? Whether it's through TV, through media, social media, calendars, all these type of things.
And
You don't
the
want.
thing about those live videos, I'll tell you, that they was astrologers. They were not.
Yeah, they was magicians. They was all time they was going to kill him. Like their whole mission was to go get him. Hey, hurrah, we know where he at. Come back. Because if y'all read it, when they find him, God visits all of them in a dream. Was like, look, don't go that way. Go back. Go this way. Yeah. And they all left. And Hurrah was mad, so he started killing all the babies. Cause look, I can't get him. I'm just kill everybody. Eventually, yeah, we'll eventually get him. He'll pop up dead. All right, so this is the Psalms. This is Psalms 92. It says a psalm or song for the Sabbath day. It is a good thing to give the thanks unto the Lord and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon the psaltery upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doeth a fool understand. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. For lo, thy enemies. O Lord, for lo, thy enemies shall perish, all the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shall thou exalt, like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. My eye also shall see my desire on my enemies, and my ear shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in the old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to show that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. So that was today's lesson. I know it wasn't like the typical one, but I had to explain to y'all the Sabbath. Yeah, I guess I get to count them, right? Get used to the calendar. I made a calendar, right? I don't know about that. I showed y'all one time. I think Isaiah had the calendar. I make those. Y'all buy the materials. I'll put the work in. That's easy, right? Just make you a calendar to show you what it's like. Or y'all get that book of Enoch, because that book I showed y'all earlier with the thing that you couldn't really see the picture. That book is just as accurate as the stuff I'm teaching. It's the same thing. They got all the calendars, 30, 30, 31. 30, 30, 31, all the way to 364. It even got the feast days on there. So you can keep that calendar boop on the thing. My calendar, the way I made it though, you can actually fill in the dates of the what's that? It's called, is it the Gregorian calendar? I think I don't know who that dude is, but Greg's calendar. We're gonna call it the Greg's calendar. Whoever that guy is, you can just fill them in with a colored marker, and you can always change them so you can keep up with the feast. Like I said, they're really important just for you to tell time and things like that. But don't follow their ways. Don't follow the moon. Don't follow something like that. 'Cause I know my brother called me one night, like, "You see the moon?" I was like, "Nah." Next day, he called, "You see the moon?" Nah. I'm thinking the moon gone. Like, turn the light off. Because I never really looked up to see if the moon was just gonna be gone. We started looking like, okay, cool. So everything the Bible is saying is true. Like, it's gonna go away for a time period. It's gonna go away for this and that. Because what they tell us, the moon's some dirty rock that the sun shine light on. But if you look at the moon, it's its own light. It's like a transparent light, just like the sun. And it says in the Bible, it's two great lights, one for the day, one for the night. But they teach us one's a rock, don't got nothing with cheese, and the other one is the sun. Yeah, but cheese on it. All right, so that was today's lesson. I thank everybody for coming. I know y'all probably hungry, so we're gonna have a prayer, and then if y'all got any questions, feel free to ask. But thank y'all all. Love. Where is it? Hugs and kisses. What you say? Hugs and kisses. Yep, X and O's, hugs and kisses. All right, so we're gonna pray, and then we get to the feasting part, and Apple cider. Yeah, you can't have champagne.